Hi, I'm Tim Schroeder, Director of Ambulance Systems here at Ferno, and we saw a number of questions come in the last day or so about the iNTraxx system, and I thought I'd take a chance to answer those. So, getting right to it. Hello Rises, or Helio Rises, sent in a question, said, what advantages do you see in moving to a modular style over a more traditional outfitting? The concept video makes it appear that you've traded space for impractical modularity. And the answer to that is really what we're trying to do is create modularity so it gives you more flexibility, maybe better access to your supplies, and just better use of the space inside the vehicle while providing safety. So if you look at the area around me, this is one example of the product that we've got to help organize and sort your supplies. Normally you'd have to get up out of your seat, whether you're on a bench or a captain's chair, maybe walk around the ambulance, grab your supplies out of a cabinet while going down the road, and then sit back down in your seat and tend to the patient. In this case, what we can do is we can take those cabinets, fold them flat against the wall, get some see-through windows, and now you can access your supplies in pre-packaged pouches right next to where you're sitting. So in this case, I could go and let's say I have an IV start kit. Rather than having an IV start kit, that I went and had to assemble my supplies and put them next to me, I can now just have one pre-packaged here ready to go, grab my IV supplies, it self-locks, it's sealed, it's safe, and I can do my job while staying seated and restrained. So that's one advantage of modularity. The other advantage of modularity is not all calls are the same. And it's not a one-size-fits-all profession. We see different calls in different scenarios all the time. And if you wanted to reconfigure your rig to better be suited for, let's say, a mass casualty call, bariatric call, that type of thing, you can configure the interior within a matter of a minute or so or less to suit that call better. One example is this. Let's say my partner set up the iNTraxx system and they've had a monitor facing this way next to me. I don't really like my monitor facing that way, so I'd rather change it. With a traditional style ambulance, that monitor is fixed in one location and that's all you can use. So in this case, I would simply unclick it, remove it from the track using the quick attach iNTraxx method. I'd put it into the track, click, and now I've got my monitor facing me where I can access and reach it. You can do that with every component in the system, and it just gives you that flexibility. I also, as part of that question, said, looks like we can't hold necessarily all the things that you use on a daily basis. One was mentioned like a bag valve mask. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You look at this and you say, okay, where do we put a BVM in this mix? But the whole system's been designed, again, to be modular. These individual pouches, while they do hold various sizes and shapes of supplies, are also removable. So this pouch we can take off, restock it, preset it up for different things. All attaches to this common backbone method here. So if I take a look at these guys over here, you'll see in this case we've got these backing plates with locking teeth. That's what gives you crash stability with the different pouches. But it also allows us to put in different sizes and shapes of pouches, and we have currently one in development specifically for a bag valve mask that will click right in here. It'll have a net that goes over the BVM so that you can access your BVM and have that as a part of your case. So, good question. Okay, the Card Shark Aardvark sent in a question, says, does this solve any actual problems in EMS, or is it just a fancier way to solve problems already solved? I think that's a great question. I think people are used to seeing ambulances evolve the way they have over the last 30, 40 years. What we're trying to do is really do something that's a little bit different in the sense that we're trying to really take standard frontline ambulances and allow them to be more appropriately laid out for specialty missions, which we see all the time. So giving that modularity is big that I just spoke about. But also when you look at this, we've got new crash standards that are going to be hitting this summer. And with every piece and part in this iNTraxx system, these things, when clicked into the wall, when supplies are put in pouches and clicked in there, they are all 26G crash stable. So we're not going to see equipment, monitors and oxygen bottles or supplies or things that are in a cabinet flying in the back of an ambulance when it's in a 26G accident. So that's an area where we're trying to solve a problem in EMS. And you know, if we keep the equipment from flying in an accident, but we don't keep a medic from flying in an accident, then we've kind of wasted our time. So, so what we're trying to do is give the medic as much of an opportunity to stay seatbelted and restrained as possible by putting things within reach. So hopefully that answers that question. Olaf, 1988, says, is there an option that integrates a bench seat? Can it be adapted to any size ambulance? Does that change the layout? Well, that's kind of the beauty of the system, is really what we're doing is we're providing the iNTraxx system, which is essentially tracks and modules that click into that track. What you want to do with your seating is really up to you and your builder. You can use a bench seat, you can do swivel captain's chairs, you can do sliding seats, completely up to you. What this system does is this allows you to just then put the stuff that you use most frequently next to you to where you're working. So hopefully that answers that question there. What about MCIs, or at least multi-patient events where you would otherwise transport 1 or 2 patients seated, 1 patient backboarded scooped on the bench, and 1 patient on the cot? Great question. That was submitted by IHSIGV. We make a module as part of the iNTraxx system called litter arm. And this litter arm allows you to very quickly take an ambulance with rows of track and click in these litter arms to transport multiple patients. This litter arm, if I set this down for a sec, looks something like this. It's a lightweight module, but very, very strong. It's got these feet here in the back, and it clicks into the track anywhere. Not that I would put it right next to my head here, but I could click it in. And if you have 2 of these side by side, a pull stretcher can span them. The pull stretcher locks in with a locking mechanism, and now I can rack patients in the ambulance, giving me that flexibility. But what's nice about it is for the 99.9% of the time what we don't have a lot of mass casualty events, these things can be stored in an outside compartment or tucked away in a supervisor's vehicle so that it's not taking up space and not impacting your daily life when you're providing routine care. So. Okay. The Muffin Medics sent in a question here. Says, can you color coordinate the safe packs based on the call type? So cardiac arrest versus pediatrics versus bariatrics, etc. Super question, and that is part of the design. So when I look at the design here, these packs currently have a red look to them, and so you see this band and you see the red backing. What I've got here though is this flap here, this pouch, has an area behind the lens so that you can get wet, you can have blood or vomit, hit the outside and not impact your label. It has this area back here for a label, and it's protected. What we've done in our field trials so far is color code those labels. So this whole band would be yellow or red or green or blue, similar to maybe the colors used for oxygen and trauma and maybe pediatrics and so forth. You could set it up like a Brazo tape. The field trial that we're doing in Missouri currently has a pediatric dedicated bag that uses a bunch of these size pouches, and they're set up like a Brazo tape down through them for different size and kids that they would see during routine calls. So hopefully that answers that question. Absolutely, it's capable of being color coded, and that's the design intent. Okay. Olaf, 1988, sent in a question, said, will the company ordering be able to customize where the seats are placed, how many secure seats are in the patient compartment? It says, we routinely have more than 2 people in the back of the rig. Will there be any consideration for added team members? Well, I'm kind of sitting on an first prototype of that. This is a jump seat that is clicked into the tracks. So if you do have a call where, let's say you do have extra riders, extra attendants, the iNTraxx system, the plan is to develop a series of jump seats that can be clicked in around the vehicle to to give you that added space and added seating. This is an early prototype that I'm on. It will probably look much different than what I'm sitting on here, but it gives you an idea of where we're headed with this concept. So yeah, and you can move them wherever there's track in the ambulance. On that note, I guess I should add, there's concepts out there. Let's say you're doing festival support or firefighter rehab, and you're the ambulance out there stationed for firefighter rehab. You may not need all the traditional equipment that you need for standard 911 response, but instead you may want to put a bunch of these seats in there with oxygen and IV lines and so forth to support that rehab. So maybe you can have 4, 5, or 6 of these seats clicked into your ambulance when you know it's going out for a firefighter rehab call. So just an option as part of the modularity of the system. Lord Eyebrow sent in a note here, says, with what appears to be the newly designed catching mechanism, how does this vehicle handle stretchers other than the one in the example? And I'm sure you're talking about the video where we have the new iNTraxx stretcher going into the ambulance, and there's a new style floor fastener and so forth. Says, for instance, if I'm doing a NICU transfer and need to swap my stretcher for the isolette. This system with the modular tracks and mount system is really independent of whatever stretcher style system you've got in place. So if you have an antler and rail system in your vehicles today and want to put the iNTraxx system in, no problem, they work together. But if you have the new iNTraxx stretcher, then that stretcher, there's plans for it to have isolate capabilities and so forth, so you could use that same iNTraxx as multiple ways to transport your patient. But really, it's an independent thing, so it's whatever you've got should work with this system. Hopefully that helps. Agent Ostrich sent in a question, says, what can y'all offer that sets all of these things apart more than just being bells and whistles? And what we're offering is we're offering flexibility. And when we talk about taking this system here and being able to make it mission specific, really cutting also down on your inventory. This is a system that gives you capabilities to do more with your ambulance than you're able to do before, because you're not constrained by the environment you've been given. Think about cleaning times, restock times, inventory times, times when that vehicle is maybe offline and going through maybe for an hour, sometimes 2 hours being deep cleaned and restocked. Now it gets cut way down. I can take, if I just use this pouch, then I can take this pouch off, toss it out the back of the ambulance, grab a new one that's been cleaned and stocked back at the bay, and grab it, click in, and I'm ready to go again. So if I needed to, I could take this whole thing off the wall very quickly, fold it up into a suitcase that looks like this, throw it out the back of the ambulance, grab a fresh one that's pre-stocked, ready to go, click it into the wall, and it's ready to go. So it's just a different approach that hopefully gives you some more flexibility and makes the life easier getting these vehicles turned back on the road and doing the job they're designed to do. Okay, this is last question here. Given the number of drug-resistant organisms out there and how EMS pretty much lives where they work, I would like to know what specific considerations have been given to the ability to thoroughly decontaminate and disinfect the interior. Great question, super question. We've got with the track and mount system, what you're able to do is instead of having to deep clean everything right there inside the vehicle, which can be tight and organisms can tend to live in places where you don't access very often. This ambulance design is essentially like a big open interior with a very smooth wall system, and all these individual mounts very quickly can be removed. So you can remove everything out of the ambulance in a matter of minutes and hose it down, wipe it down, whatever you like to do. What you're seeing here is the military version of our track as a demonstrator unit. And what we've done is for frontline EMS, we've created a little bit different style track. So this track here has the same footprint and the same strength holding capabilities as all the military systems track. But what we've done is we've made it very easy to wipe down, very easy to clean and disinfect. Every one of these zones are called drop-in zones, and it's an area for fluids to drain out. So if you were to hose down the interior of your ambulance, you could just wipe out these tracks, but all the fluid is going to drain out of these drop-in zones so that it doesn't collect and harbor pathogens in the track. They sell brushes that can go right down these things and clean them out very easily if someone vomited or whatever, got it dirty. These tracks are designed to be flush mounted to the walls. So you can see by the shape of it, it's smooth and beveled, easy to wipe down, not a lot of hard edges, nooks and crannies. All of the mounts have been designed with drain holes so that if you were to take a mount and hose it off or soak it in disinfectant, it's designed to drain so that it doesn't collect fluids and stuff like that. So hopefully that helps. Mounts would just click on like so. It's very easy to unclick maybe a dirty mount, take it off, send it out, hose it off in the driveway, whatever you got to do. Grab one that's been cleaned, click it in your vehicle, and you're ready to go. While I'm at it, we did design some extra features into this system. We recognize that going down the road, it can be a very noisy environment in the back of an ambulance. There's a lot of pieces and parts. When you click things into the track, they need to be quiet. When you first click it in, it is 26G crash stable, and you don't want to hear this going down the road. So what we've done is this lever has a dual action, and you can simply rotate it like that, and that locks it in, and now it's quiet. So trying to think ahead, trying to put ourselves in the environment that it's being used in, and really make things quiet, easy to use, easy to reconfigure. There's a whole series of mounts from defibs to supplies to cabinets to extra seats, oxygen bottle carriers, a universal mount which you see here, a little track clip that allows you to simply maybe hang an IV bag wherever you want or organize your lines, give you the flexibility to really create an ambulance from kind of a Lego type system that's 26G crash stable. Hopefully that helps. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot them back to us. And until then, have a great day. Thank you.